Hey guys, it's me, Mama C, coming at you live from West Tennessee on a very dreary day. Although the temperature is nice and we're not sweltering, which is fantastic for a change. I'm going to talk to you today about something that seems so very common but has a lot of history and intricacy to it, and that is incense. Incense goes back before recorded time. People used to throw roots and leaves and sticks and things into fires to celebrate occasions, to call upon their gods, to heal, to do many things. There's so many different types of incense recorded throughout the history, both through ancient texts, through the Bible, through all countries, all cultures have some sort of incense burning rituals involved. This has trickled down into modern day society in a lot of different ways. The Catholic churches still burn a lot of incense in their ceremonies. Um, Voodooans, Wiccans, witches, we all use incense in one form or another. There's a lot of different kinds of incense. Just the basics start with, okay, stick incense. This is Sai Baba stick incense, Nag Champa. It's the original Nag Champa that everybody remembers from the 70s. All us old hippies. This was the first incense that you were probably came in contact with. This is still made today. It's still one of the most popular ones that we carry, and it sells pretty much everywhere. Um, it's a very soft kind of floral scent, Nag Champa, that comes from India. The Satya brand actually makes way more different scents than just the Nag Champa, but this is definitely the most popular one. This is another incense that comes from India. This is our #1 selling brand, Song of India. It has a tagline that says, "Smells like temples in India." I don't know what a temple in India smells like because I've never been to India, but it is really an amazing scent. This is our #1 bestseller. What I do with these, actually, rather than burn them, is I'll take a stick out and I'll stick it under the seat of my car, and it is a really effective deodorizer, and smells really soft and clean and fresh, makes your car smell good. And then when you're done with the stick in the car, you can take it out and actually burn it. Any of you that get the little sample packs from me with the yellow tag on them, that's what this is. This is the Song of India Temple Incense. Another really popular brand that we have, Him. Well, that's upside down. Him is actually comes from India as well, and it's when you're making incense, there's a lot of different ways to make it. This is what's called hand-rolled incense, and essentially what they do is they take things like Arabic gum and different powders, powdered herbs and essential oils and stuff like that, and it's rolled like this, just like you kind of would if you were making handmade pasta. Anybody make pasta? And you roll it real thin, and then it's stuck on a bamboo stick, and it's ready to go. And that's why you'll see a lot of the Indian hand-rolled incense. The sizes and lengths are a little inconsistent. That's because they're handmade instead of machine-made. The Him comes in, Lord, dozens of different scents. They make it in sticks and in cones. It's a really popular brand, and we carry a whole lot of that too. With those with stick incense, there's a lot of different kind of burners you can use. I know everybody's seen the little basic canoe burner, a little piece of wood where the incense stick stands up straight like this and the ash kind of falls down all over the place. This is something I like better. This is what's called a coffin box. And it opens up like this, and the stick sits inside here, and you can close it and the smoke comes out through the holes. This one also has a little, doesn't this one? This one doesn't have one. Some of these boxes have little storage spaces where they'll flip open, and you can store your incense inside to keep it fresh. But burner boxes are great because you don't have that ash messed everywhere, and you can just open it up and flip out the ash into the trash can, and you're done. These also come in tower styles, which go like this, and the top sits down on the bottom, and so the ash falls down inside of it. A similar thing to that is a smoking bottle. Now, we make smoking bottles here in the shop. This is one that I made. Smoking bottles I upcycle them from wine bottles because I drink a lot of wine. Anybody that's ever visited Casa Creepy knows that I have a fully stocked wine cabinet, and we drink lots of wine here. And I take these, and after I've drank all the wine out of them, and I turn them into burner bottles. What I do is I take them out to my shop and drill a hole through the glass so that it allows the air out. And then all you have to do, I put these little, it's almost like a key ring. You take the end of the stick of incense and you slide it into the key ring and you drop it down in the bottle, and it sits kind of up like this, and that keeps it from touching the bottom so that it can get air underneath it and burn. And then and the smoke comes out just through the top. And some of the bottles are clear. This one I did some pink glitter. It's got a tri-catcher, and then I used some little letter beads here to do Blessed Be on the, let's see, Blessed Be on the side of it. So that's just some little decoration. But the clear ones, you can see the smoke kind of coming out through. This one, you just see the smoke coming out the top because I've painted on the inside. So, but that's a smoking bottle, and that's another nice way to keep the ash from making a mess, because when the incense stick is burned out, you just dump it over into the trash can and dump the ash out right there. I make these in, oh gosh, lots of different styles with gods and goddesses and symbols and original art and all kinds of stuff on them. Still in the vein of the stick incense, here's one that everybody's probably seen. This is Ganesh. You can get it most of the times at your local dollar store. We also carry it all here too, because it's really a super popular brand of incense. They make it in, I don't know, 30 or 40 different scents and sticks and cones. It's a really popular charcoal incense. Remember a minute ago when I was telling you about the hand rolled, where they would use gum arabic and things like that and roll it together? This is a machine-made incense. So the sticks are all much more consistent, and it's a charcoal base. So the charcoal base are not my favorite form. A lot of people like that. To me, it gives kind of, we call it a punk. It's a punky smell, meaning that after you get the initial scent, you get kind of a smoky afterburn there. And it's just, you know, a matter of taste. A lot of people really love that in their incense. I don't. I like the more natural forms of incense. The hand rolled are okay, but I'll get to the type that I use here just in a minute. But this is the Ganesh. Like I said, comes in sticks and cones. This is Essential Essences, which of any brand on the market right now, of the dipped incenses, which I'll get to in just a second, this has probably got to be my favorite. This is a really high quality dipped incense. Now, dipped incense, and this comes in sticks and cones as well, what you do is you take what's called a punk, which is a blank unscented stick or unscented cone, and then you soak it in essential oils to get the scent that you want. The higher quality incense uses higher quality essential oils and higher quality punks, and you can really tell the difference in the burn. The Essential Essences is a very high quality, and it doesn't get any of that stinky after smell to it. It burns very slowly, and you know, lots of scent to it. So those come in sticks and cones, and that's a really good dipped incense. There's some other dipped incenses on the market too that are really good. This one is Wildberry. We get these in bulk, and Wildberry, and this is Art Blends, which is another good one. They have lots of different scents, but they are also dipped incenses. They take sticks and they're soaked in essential oils, and then some of them, they use a lot of fragrance blends, so some of them tend to be perfumey, but there's a lot of people that like that sort of thing. They don't want just musk or sandalwood. They want the blends, and in the Wildberry especially, you've got fairy dust, you've got fizzy pop, which smells like soda, you've got pear vanilla, you've got a lot of blended scents that are really fun. So these tend to appeal a lot to the younger crowd because there's such a wide variety of scents, and a lot of them are really fun. So, but they're both good quality dipped incense as well. You can buy them in bulk, or you can get them in single packs. Now, the Japanese have a very, very long history of incense and incense making. And this is Morningstar, which is a Nippon Kodo incense. And what that means is these little sticks are the incense with no bamboo on the inside. So they fit on these little ceramic tiles like this, little tiny little thing, but they really pack a punch. This one is pine. They're very strong, and they give a very pure, clean burn, because these are also hand-rolled incense. This is a kind of a premium incense also. They come from Japan, called Morningstar Nippon Kodo. And they come with the little burners inside. But this is a very good quality incense. Just a lot of people are surprised when they get it because they think, oh, that's so tiny. But what it is it just doesn't have the wooden stick at the bottom, so it's really the same amount of incense. You're just not burning down to a piece of wood. The whole thing burns up and disappears. So Now, the next type of incense I want to talk about are the natural incenses. And these are the ones that I use primarily, especially in magic, and I'm a lot in the shop every day. I think it's just that my taste has sort of developed over a number of years of selling incense and working with incense and making incense, that I have kind of narrowed my focus down to a very few scents that really I find to be most spiritual. And the thing is as these aren't anything new and exciting, they're the ones that a lot of magical practitioners find to be the most spiritual scents, and a lot of them come from ancient history: frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, all of those things that we hear, different stories about. It's like the frankincense and myrrh that were brought to baby Jesus. At that time, frankincense and myrrh were just as valuable as gold because they were very difficult to find, and it took so a long time to get them across the ocean from where they came from to or across the desert to be sold in the markets there. So they were almost priceless. Now you can get a 1 ounce bag of myrrh from my shop for less than $5, which is actually quite a lot, a 1 ounce bag. But this is a frankincense and myrrh blend right here. This is from my little personal stash. If you'll see, it looks, oh, can you get, sort of like tiny rocks. And what resins are is they are the excretions from plants and trees and stuff. I mean, you can use a pine resin. This is a frankincense and myrrh. I have some patchouli resin. They are the actual resins of the trees and plants. And so they are the most natural form of incense. For instance, you could go out to a pine tree and the pine resin that's dipping down the sides, when you get a hole in the tree and it starts to I guess that's what, in the fall, when the resin drips, you could scrape that off, bring it in, do it up in a mortar and pestle, and throw it on a piece of charcoal, and that's incense. I mean, it literally comes direct from the source. And so what you have here is the pure natural properties of the plant or tree that you're working with, which, everything has a magical property involved. Like frankincense and myrrh, both are for cleansing and consecration and blessing and protection. And so you have that from the plant translating directly to your incense burning and enhancing your ritual or your environment, whichever. So the way you do with these is you take a charcoal tab like this. They come in rolls of 10, and you light it just like you would a briquette on the grill, and you let it it sparks a little bit. So you don't want to hold it in your hand. You want to use tongs, or you want to put it in a censer like this. Okay, this is an incense censer. If you'll notice, the top of it has holes. So you could set the briquette on there so that air gets up underneath it. And what you're doing is you're letting it kind of burn down to gray, just like you would if you were throwing a piece of chicken on the grill. You don't want to throw it on the black charcoal. You throw it on the gray charcoal, okay? And then you sprinkle your resins over the top, and it'll smoke. Okay, it's best to kind of grind them up in a mortar and pestle, because the big chunks tend to melt and it will make the charcoal go out, whereas if you've sprinkled them over the top, you get a little more consistent burn to it. Also, you can use herbs and flowers in resins, which, just like the original incense was. This one is a healing blend that I make here in the shop. If you'll note, see in there, it's got several different herbs. It's got rose, it's got lavender, it's got eucalyptus, it's got a little bit of pine in there, and it smells really good. Now, these are very earthy because they are natural herbs, but you would just do it the same way you would as the resins. You just kind of sprinkle it over the top and let it burn. So these are really great for ritual, okay? Natural incense right here, resins, herbs. You can even mix these two together and make your own blends. And that's what I do here with the incense powders that we make here in the shop. Okay, like this one is Louisiana mud, and this one is made of a wood base of I think this one is a orange wood, maybe. I'd have to go look at my recipes. And it's got coffee, and it's also got chocolate cocoa powder in it. And it's got a few other things. This is a recipe I came up with myself, and the way these powders work is they are self-igniting. Now what that means is that you don't have to put them on top of the charcoal. You can if you just want to, but it's not necessary. I use a wood base and I grind it up super, 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 super fine before I start mixing in the herbs and the essential oils that go in these blends. And so when you light the incense, it consistently burns itself because it's got that wood base. It's like almost ground to the consistency of sawdust. So these, if you've got long fingernails and you scoop a little bit out and you pop it in there, that's really all you need. I mean, half a teaspoon. This looks like a small bottle, but it's a lot of burn because this stuff is super intense. This one is Astral Journey. That's another one from here in the shop. And they're very, very intense. So they only just need just a tiny little bit to really pack the punch that you need, especially for ritual. These are great for spell work, ritual, clearing your environment, that kind of thing. Of course, you can use them just for scent purposes, but they are really magically tuned for specific situations. I use this little cauldron right here to burn my incense powders in. Little cauldrons will work. You can use little fireproof dishes. I don't recommend using a glass plate because these get hot and they sometimes will crack. Really, metal is the best. And like this little cauldron right here, I've had for years and years and years and years. And that's what I burn my resins and my powders in. Now, for stick incense, this is my go-to that I use in the shop here every day. These are nature sticks. And if you've never tried these, this is the be-all, end-all in stick incense burning. And the reason why is you've got the bamboo stick, but it's actually covered. Can you see that? Looks like crystals. That is resin. Like this one is copal. It's covered in copal resin. So instead of having to mash it up and put it on a charcoal tab, here it is in a stick. Now these are expensive. I won't lie. They're $7 or $8 a package for 10 of them. But they are so super strong. I can burn one stick and the smell will last all day here in the shop, all day long. They are the premium in pre-made stick incense. I can't say enough good things about this company and the incense that they make. It's a nature. We carry a bunch of different scents. I don't ever see them in the stores anywhere, but I can find them online. So if you want to try these, you'll kind of go, "Ooh, gosh, they're expensive." Yes, they are, but they're worth every single penny. Okay. Now, if you are interested in making your own incense blends, the best thing I can do is tell you to experiment. But there are some things you should be careful with. There are some things that you should not mix into your incense. Mandrake, it gets toxic fumes when it's burned. Cinnamon, raw cinnamon can be very irritating to the skin and eyes. There's a few other things like that. So unless you have a pretty good basic knowledge of herbs and resins, then your experimentation should be done outside. So that way if you're going, then you know you can get away from it or dump it in a bucket of water or whatever. There's several different books. The complete books of Incense Oils and Brews by Scott Cunningham is a great resource. There is a number of different books out there that have, in my company newsletter to this that's available on our Facebook page at facebook.com/mamacreepies, or Mama C's, I'm sorry, MAMACS, will give a list of other books about incense making. And if you have any questions, you can always email and ask me if this is something that you want to try your hand at. I have tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and won with making incense, just like I have with candles and oils and other things. There's been just as many that have been thrown in the trash as there have been, put in our store. So, if you make something and it smells horrible, chuck it and then just start over again. But it's a fun way to make something, especially if you're doing it for a ritual, that really imbues your own power and your own signature to whatever it is that your spell work involves. Now, as always, these newsletters, video newsletters, are unscripted and unedited, and it's just me talking off the top of my head. So if there's something that you don't understand or something that you have a question about, you can contact me. It's Mama Creepy at mamacreepy.com, or you can call the shop. Or you can catch us on the Facebook page at facebook.com/mamacs, MAMACS. Be happy to help you out, answer any questions, help guide you on your way, or at least tell you who you need to talk to if I don't have your answers. Thank you, and blessed be.